one when I didn't know my name. Before I was born, love me just the same. Who was the one who took me by my hand and kept me from all danger? The way a father can. Who was the one to lead me along the way? When I didn't know the path for me to take. Nobody but Jesus. No. Nobody but Jesus. I'm glad nobody but Jesus. Yeah, no. Nobody but Jesus. Place the sun so high and hang the stars in space to decorate the sky. Oh, was the one to die on Calvary with nails in his hands and nails in his feet. Who took the stain from death and victory from the grave? Then went on back to heaven. And he's gonna return one day. you, who can save you, who can fill you, who can thrill you, who can keep you. Nobody, 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 no, no, no. Oh, nobody. Ah.
Good evening, everybody. Hey, Miss Buckeye, who that? A brilliant Blue. Hello, everybody. Thanks, Blue, for moderating. Guess what, y'all? Thank you, April. I love and appreciate you. I think it must have been God because I played the wrong song, but I think we needed to hear that song. So, thank you all for coming to the live. If you have not already liked the live, please do so. And thank you for those of you who have already liked the live. I want to make sure that you can hear me before I go on. So put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Thank you, Blue. I appreciate you. thank, thank you, Blue. I can always count on you. Lord have mercy. So, how's everybody's day so far? Is everybody having a wonderful day? Amen. Amen. I agree. Brilliant. Amen. They say today is a holiday. They say it's President's Day. But that's wonderful who that. Let me start putting some of these comments up so you all can see them. Let me take this banner down. And who that says she's having a good day. Blue says she's going to be a pupil today. Okay. A brilliant says she's having a blessed, peaceful day. That is so wonderful. I am glad to hear it. Is anybody in the chat? I know we only have a few people right now in the chat, but hey, that's what I'm saying, a brilliant. That's what I'm saying. We don't celebrate the person who is in the Oval Office, but we bless God for paid holidays, for all of those who receive paid holidays, and especially those who receive double pay. So we thank God for that. In all things, give thanks. So we are grateful. Hey, Vaughn, how are you? Thank you for coming. Yes, we are grateful. So, is there anybody in the chat who is an educator? Anybody? I know that Wanda I think she's in a class. I know she's an educator, but she's not here. But I want to know if anyone else is an educator. Okay, Vaughn, you're a teacher's assistant, so you're an educator. I said what I said. Hey, sis, how are you? I hope today is a good day for you. Okay, so Blue said you used to be an educator. All right, that's right. A brilliant. That's an educator. Is that an I or are you saying one? I said what I said. So I'm just chit chatting for right now, guys, because I want to see if more people are going to come in. Oh, that's you're not late. You're not late. You're just fine. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Say that again, Blue. Right? Because when you think out the box, a Sunday school teacher is an educator. Blue, I want to block you because you always coming on here seeming to know what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to um, block you. But I'm not going to block you right now because you're doing a great job as a moderator. That is so true. I'm not going to block you right now. I'll let you know when you're getting ready to get blocked. Okay. You know I love you. So, what are you guys doing today? Those of you who have a day off, just chilling. There you go. I said what I said. We're going to let you work the full day. You know how people get terminated after working a whole day? That's what we're going to do to you, Blue. After you finish working, then you get blocked. But not right now. You're doing an excellent job, so we can't block you. Oh, wow. Okay, bro. Enjoy your muffin. I don't eat chocolate, so I can't relate. Oh, y'all having a storm? I said what I said. Be careful. Be safe. These storms are no joke. Oh, you know what, Blue? I can always use prayer. So pray for me. Yep. Yep, a brilliant. Yep. So who does eating popcorn? Okay. So y'all are having a relaxed day, it seems. So let me go ahead and get started on what I want to talk about. Okay, it's good to have somebody to run errands for you. Yes, indeed. Okay, Blue. Lord, Vaughn here. Vaughn, stop yelling at the kids. Stop. Never going to get it. You're never going to get it, Blue. You're never going to get my singing. How's that? So everybody's eating, huh? Okay. Well, y'all enjoy. So let me go ahead and talk about what I want to talk about for now. How many of y'all have had the opportunity to babysit or to be a new mother? You know what, Vaughn? Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Hey, Jackson Tabasco. How are you? Thanks for joining. Leave those babies alone, Vaughn. Let them be kids. You said adults and kids, Blue. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Well, no comment, bro. That's right. I said what I said. Children are precious. You know what? It's like that sometimes, Vaughn. Those that aren't yours are very special. Not to say that yours aren't special, but those that aren't yours, because you can send them home, they are special. Chill Will Crew. Thank you for joining. I'm not sure if you've changed your name, if you've been here before, if I know you, but either way, welcome. I appreciate you joining. So, speaking of newborns, what I want to talk about today is that we're all teachers. And so, even when it comes to newborns teach us as well. You ever notice how you can tell why a baby is crying? Oh, thank you so much, Chill Will Crew. Thank you so much for joining. And feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And feel free to come back. I hope that you enjoyed this live. So, yes, newborns teach us when they're crying, they teach us whether they're hungry, they're sleepy, they need a diaper change. We eventually learn from their different cries what their cries mean. So they're teaching us. I believe that the most underappreciated occupation is that of an educator. Without teachers in the classroom, we wouldn't have other occupations. So I believe that teachers are definitely underpaid and underappreciated. I think that's the most important occupation that I can think of, even more so than doctors and attorneys, because they teach us, they help us to grow into those areas. So I'm pretty sure that no matter how long ago you finished school, we can all name at least one teacher who made an impact on our lives. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I know for myself, I had a third grade teacher who I believe was a racist and told me that I would never amount to anything. But then, this is how God works. very young and impressionable at the time when this woman told me that. And she really could have defined my life. But because God knows exactly what He's doing, He knows how to do it, and He knows when to do it. My fourth grade teacher was one who assured me that I could do and be anything I wanted to be. She had no idea what my third grade teacher had told me. Yeah, I said what I said. However, education outside of the classroom is sometimes, a lot of times, more important than what we learn in the classroom. In reality, we should be learning and teaching something new every day. I like history, especially Black history, for those who may not know. And I often do research on Black history facts and I share with others, usually in a YouTube short or something like that. I'm always hoping that whenever someone learns something that I've shared, that they will not only share what they've learned, but they also do their own research to learn even more and to pass it on. Hey, Majan, thanks for joining. When we learn something new, we do ourselves and others a disservice when we don't share what we've learned. Nobody knows everything. Now, if you think you know everything, I am so sorry to disappoint you because nobody knows everything. And it's important to share or teach what we've learned. In essence, each one teach one. For instance, several months ago, I was on a live watching a content creator, and I learned that there's a difference between a lawyer and an attorney. As I don't want to use the word old, but I'll use it. As old as I am, I should have known this a long time ago, but I didn't. So it's better late than never. So here's the difference between a lawyer and an attorney. Although an attorney can also be referred to as a lawyer isn't necessarily an attorney. A lawyer is one who has graduated from law school. An attorney has not only graduated from law school, but has also passed the bar exam, making them licensed to practice law. That's just an example of how we can learn something new from others. And by me sharing this example, is how we can teach others what we've learned. Now, the person who taught me that was younger than me, but we should also be mindful that we're not using our prejudices against others in order to block our learning from learning our lessons. Because someone can be younger than you, they can be older than you, they can be a different gender, and all those things can be used as prejudices. But we can all learn from others, good and bad. We can even learn when someone acts a certain way, we can learn from their behavior, but that's not the person that we want to really be associated with or to be around. So don't let your prejudices make you not willing to learn from others. When people see that you don't love yourself, they also learn from you that it's okay to treat them a certain way. So, low self esteem begins with unrecognized and untreated trauma, which often stems from childhood. Now, I can spend all day talking about this subject, but I want to talk about how we can teach others how to treat us by the way we treat ourselves. If you are dealing with childhood trauma or trauma that happened in your adulthood, not only should you pray and draw closer to God, but it's okay to seek help. I want you to remember that even though it's a taboo in the Black community of seeking counseling, seeking counseling is not it's not bad. And if you don't know this, I want you to write it down. You are not crazy simply because you seek counseling. We all want to strive to be better versions of ourselves. And if that includes counseling, then that's a beautiful thing. What is Blue doing? I'm trying not to pay her any mind. But yes, make sure that you get the counseling that you need if you are in need of counseling. And don't let anyone try to talk you out of it. Because a lot of times when we talk to therapists, we know that those people are licensed and that they are bound by law not to share what we are telling them. So we feel free to talk to them, to tell them our deepest and darkest thoughts and secrets, knowing that they won't share with others. I guess an exception is if they feel that we are, hey, St. James, if we are and possibly a threat to ourselves or to others. Thanks for stopping by, St. James. I appreciate you. So, if you find yourself always being mistreated by others, pray and seek counseling to figure out what's going on with you that makes you continue to allow the disrespect. Because remember, not only can we teach someone when it comes to history, learning the difference between an attorney, a lawyer, or helping someone spell a word correctly, we can learn. We are teaching others how to treat us by the way we treat ourselves. And I'm going to repeat it again for those who may not have gotten it the first time. But you are not crazy simply because you seek counseling. It is a trick of the enemy that wants you to not seek counseling because he wants you to stay bound. But you don't have to stay that way. Get counseling if you need it. Also, remember what God says about you. God says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And you can find that in Psalm 139:14. He says that you aren't just a conqueror, but you are more than a conqueror. And you can find that in Romans 8:37. And he also says that you are the head and not the tail. And you can find that in Deuteronomy 28:13. So remember that we are all teachers, and be cognizant, be aware of what you are teaching others. And if you happen to teach someone or tell someone the wrong thing, do not allow pride to get in the way of you making a correction, because we are all human and we are bound to make mistakes. So that's what I have for this live. And I did not plan to stay here long. But if anyone would like to come up and share on the subject, feel free to do so. I will put the link in the chat, and you can come up and talk about teaching and learning. And if you've learned anything recently that you want to share, feel free to come and share with us. None of us are too young, too old, or anything else to learn. And prayerfully, if you didn't learn anything new on this live, you will seek something to learn today in order for you to teach someone else. Each one, teach one. Okay, I said what I said. So, anyone else? I know I said what I said it's going to come up, but anyone else wants to share something that they may have learned that they want to share with us, feel free. Feel free to come up and share what you want us to know. Will there be one? I wanted to take a moment once again to thank each and every one of you for coming to this live, and for not only coming to the live, but for participating in the chat. Your participation in the chat is so much appreciated. I appreciate you all. Hold on for a minute. I have someone who wants to come up.
Good morning or good afternoon. Sorry.
Good evening.
Good evening. Sorry about that. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So the only thing I'll say is uh Robert has had some boat ride and I had some
Wait a
therapy
minute.
and it helps out a whole lot. So
You have a bad connection. Hold up. You have a bad connection. You sounding like a
I can go
robot.
back out and come back in.
I hear you better now.
I can go out and come.
You're
Okay.
fine now.
Okay. So getting therapy is not that bad. I've had it for because I have ADHD and Robert has had some, and it really does help out. And also for veterans, anybody who's a veteran. The VA is really not good for giving mental health. In Arizona, the VA here has been horrible. They've left veterans who've said they're wanting to end their lives alone in the hospital. And so being an advocate is really important for if you have family members who might need help. um, I highly recommend for you to get help outside of the VA, and, and because VA is not very good at it, but most insurances usually cover any kind of a mental health, or just to know how to deal with family and stuff. That really helps out.
Okay.
So that's all I wanted to say, was that it's not I'm for those who don't know, I'm from Iran, and Iranians were not into getting going to see therapy either, but I think it doesn't hurt at all, and it's usually pretty good. It's not scary.
Okay. Well, thanks
So
for sharing that.
thank you, and love everything that you do, Alice. Thank you so much for you being such a blessing, and you being such a teacher, awesome teacher for everybody. So I wanted to thank you for being so awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. You have a
Okay.
blessed and beautiful day.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, sis, how are you?
Are you talking to me, Alice?
Yes,
I'm doing great. How you doing today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Give me 1 second here.
Okay.
I have to. I like to put this headset on so I can hear because I can't
Okay.
really hear that well. Give me another one more moment. Let me turn it on.
Okay. Is St. James still here?
Okay, Alice, I'm ready. I'm sorry. Um, I had to make a few adjustments.
Okay, you good.
Okay. Can you hear me well now, or is it static or
I hear you very well.
Oh, okay, good. I wanted to come up and talk about the subject today because I feel like us as a Black community also, I feel like we don't ever want to get help because number one, it's not taught in our homes to get help.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we have a problem, most of the time most people will tell you, "Oh, well, you'll be all right." And sometimes you're not,
Yep.
you know. We kind of just shoot that off, and whatever issue we have, we're supposed to be strong, especially, I won't even just say women, even men. We're taught to just handle everything and anything. And we're taught that, whatever goes on in our lives or whatever happened to us, we're supposed to be strong enough to endure it and get through it because of because of our ancestors, because I feel like our ancestors had such a hard time and they were able to overcome all the objectivity that they had to go through, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, from all the way from slavery through the civil rights and even today. So we're taught in our homes that we should be able to handle anything, and I feel like we're conditioned in our homes. Even if you tell, like, when you're a young child and your parent is parenting you and your child tell you, well, um even if you just speak your mind, oh, just be quiet, you're trying to be grown, or you'll get
Mm-hmm.
over it, you all right, you'll get over it, and sometimes you can even fall and break your arm or cut your leg up, and and your parents will still tell you, well, you'll be okay. And so
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes, that's not trauma because that's something that you can go to the hospital and get fixed. But whenever you have some type of issue going on or a problem that you can't solve, and you try to seek counsel, and even in the church, you try to seek counsel, especially if you're trying to seek marriage counseling, and trying to improve your marriage or what have you. Even the pastor will
Mm-hmm.
tell you, "Well, y'all will be okay." Y'all just, they'll give you generic answers instead of really trying to resolve the issues with you, right? And
Right.
because their whole goal is just to try to keep you together. Well, sometimes some people don't need to be together, depending on what the situation is. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so it's not that I frown upon the church, but the church keep a lot of bad marriages together because they're trying to do it biblically. And I think people forget what the scripture is. It says what God put together, let no man take asunder.
Amen.
Not what you put together. And a lot of
Amen.
times we put ourselves with those people and we don't seek God when we're seeking a mate. Okay. And so,
Right.
and then we'll go to the pastor and say, well, help me with this marriage, help me, help us with our situation. And he'll try to help you keep the glue together. And sometimes the glue can't stay together because God didn't have anything to do with it in the beginning.
That's
Right.
true.
Okay.
That's true.
And then if you're at home and you have an issue that you can't resolve, and you try to talk to your parents, a lot of times they don't have time to talk to you, or they'll just tell you that it's going to be okay. Or if you see even your friends, you try to tell one of your friends one of your problems. Oh, girl, it'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait it out. Just wait time it'll be okay in time. But sometimes you need some extra help. Even when
Mm-hmm.
I went to a psychiatrist, and even the strongest of the strong people, need therapy sometimes.
Right.
And I feel like I'm a very strong person, and I didn't up until the trauma that I had, I never felt like that I would ever need to go to therapy, because that's the way I was raised in my home.
Mm-hmm.
You're taught to be independent. You're taught to be strong, and you're taught to face whatever the world throw at you, right? And
Right.
so when I went to therapy, I didn't really believe in therapy, but I went ahead and went anyway. And I'm gonna just be honest with you. Um, the job that I had, it required you to go to therapy if you wanted to, you know, stay at home because it was called stress level.
Uh-huh.
You could take time off of it was called stress time. But if you take that time off, you have to go to therapy. And all therapists are not theraping. They're
Mm-hmm.
not great therapists. When I did take the time out to go to a therapist, I went to 3 of them. One therapist told me, "Well, I can't believe you worked this job this long and never had to needed any therapy." And I really
Mm.
didn't feel like I needed it. I just felt like I just needed to take a break from the job. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just doing this, just because I'm dotting I's and crossing T's. So me and her didn't really do any therapy. We talked about everything except my problems.
Wow.
The second time I went to therapy, I didn't like what the therapist was telling me. She was giving me answers that I didn't want to hear. So I didn't take her seriously either because
Uh-huh.
it had to do, I talk about my brother a lot, but I went through a lot with my brother, okay? And
Uh-huh.
so I went to therapy because of him, and she was telling me that that wasn't my responsibility and to put him in a place. And I'm like, this lady crazy. She think I'm finna get rid of my brother. That's not happening. And
Right.
so I wasn't really listening to her. And then when I went to this third therapist, because I was still taking time off for work, hell, I was in there helping him out. He was in there asking me. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse y'all, but
That go back. Yeah, that
I,
goes back to
yeah,
what
that's
Lee
y'all. That's
said.
how I talk. I said what I said is my name, y'all. So forgive me. But I'm in there helping him out. He was in there. Well, how did you do this and that? I said, well, ain't you supposed to be helping me instead of me helping you? So, so when you are seeking therapy, just make sure you have a good therapist, okay? And make sure
Right.
make sure that therapist is addressing your issues and not in there
Mm-hmm.
telling you their issues, because that can happen also. And it's just like when you seek for a medical doctor. You get second and third opinions, especially if they tell you something wrong and you don't really, because a lot of times they'll tell us something wrong. We don't believe them, so we'll go get somebody else to tell us the same thing. We'll go
Right.
get a second and a third opinion. And sometimes these days and times, I recommend you go get, if not a fourth opinion, the way these doctors act these days. But
Yeah.
um, and that goes the same as therapists. Go, if they're not helping you or whatever, go find somebody else, because everybody is not in it for to help people. Some people are there just for a paycheck.
Right.
Right. And so,
Right.
and I just made the comment in the chat, we seek help for every other organ in our body except for our brains. We feel like our brain
Uh-huh.
don't need help. And sometimes our brain do need a little help.
Right. That's so true.
Yeah, and
That
that's the
is so
last
true.
organ that we'll seek help for, because it's not
Yep.
hurting, it's not aching, it's not bothering us, but sometimes our mental is just off. And so,
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people, yeah, it's okay to go get some help. And I let them, and when I was in therapy, I was like, yeah, child, I was crazy for a minute, and I had to go get me some therapy, to go get me some help or what have you. And I just think if we talk about it more, then
Uh-huh.
more people will go to therapy. You know,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
feel like it's just a subject, and I don't know about other communities, but I know in our community, it's just not a subject that's being taught and you know not even accepted. What do you feel
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah. I agree with that. That's why um every now and then I'll say something about it, because it's like shame
Yeah, it's a
that's put
shame,
upon you. Yeah. And
a stigma.
yeah. And I don't understand it, because other people don't seem to. I don't know for sure, because I'm not in those communities, but other
Right.
people don't seem to have that type of shame
Mm-mm. They
in their
don't. They
communities.
don't.
But
We do.
I guess we are so, a lot of us are so beaten down
Mm-hmm.
that we will believe anything someone tells us, especially when they tell us that we're looking weak,
Mm-hmm.
especially our men.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times men won't get the help, and I believe that sometimes that's why men become abusive,
Mm-hmm.
because they take out their frustration on the wrong people, those that are closest to them. They take that out on them because they're not getting the help that they need. And that's not to excuse an abuser at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are out of control like that, you need to get some help. And if you harm someone, then I say don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
That's right. Or don't give a leak if you don't want to take one, because I'm not promoting violence or anything,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
you just can't.
yeah.
But
That part.
I just don't run into those type of people, Alice. I don't know. I got that
Uh-huh.
look on my face or whatever, but I just they never had to deal with that type of person, because
Uh-huh.
they are. But I let them know up front. I'm a very nice person, and I keep my hands to myself. But I expect
Hmm.
you to do the same thing, because
Yeah.
if you give a lick,
Well,
I feel like you should be able to take one. And
right.
so, and that's just how how I feel about it. But I just want to go back to what you were saying about therapy. I think the reason why our community disregard therapy and put such a stigma on it, because when we've always had people in our family would when was a little touched, or that
Uh-huh.
elevator was just
Hmm.
one going to the top floor. Okay, let's just call it what it
Uh-huh.
is. Okay,
Uh-huh.
and so I don't know how to say it a nice way, y'all. I'm sorry. This is just who I have to call it like I see it. But what we do is, we put that person in the back room.
Right.
I had a few people in my family that was in the back room, and you just put them in the back room. You shut the door, and you just you feed them, and the mama will feed them and clothe them. Have a little bitty
Mm-hmm.
interaction with them, but they just kept
Mm-hmm.
them in the back room. They wouldn't put them in a facility. They didn't give them any therapy. They didn't get them any help, and I guess they felt like if well, I'm taking care of them. Yet they at home with me, and so I feel like that's where we got that stigma from. So instead of getting them help, we just try to, yeah, we just try to, whitewash it. We really did. And we just, we made sure they ate. We made sure they had a place to stay. And we made sure, we tried to teach them the basics. And that was it.
Uh-huh.
and then everybody just, go on with their life, and then they'll go back there and check on him or what have you, and and that was it. So I feel like
Yeah.
that's where we got that from.
Yeah. Yeah. That sure could be part of it. We just have to I don't know. We really need to
Do better.
stop. Yeah, do better. Stop
Yeah,
listening
do
to
better.
what other people are telling us
Mhm.
about ourselves, and we need to learn more about ourselves.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm going to go back to what I said before. I'm going to keep saying this because a lot of us are just against getting therapy, but you are not crazy simply because you see counseling. That doesn't make you crazy. It really, you have to have some sense to even know that you need counseling.
Mhm.
And like you said, if the first person that you talk to is not the one, keep looking. There's a reason why there are different multiple churches in a community, multiple doctors' offices, multiple stores or whatever, because everything is not for everybody. One size does not fit all. So if you feel that the counselor that you're seeing is not the person for you, then by all means find another one. But don't stop seeking counseling just because that person wasn't for you.
Mhm. Right. And I think also too, Alice, I think sometimes people are afraid to make a mistake. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Um w- we try to go around and I'm talking about the people that care, because everybody don't
Right.
care. Let's just keep that real.
Uh-huh.
But the people that really care about how they conduct them lives and how they conduct their lives, and we all have, a method, and we all have a schedule that we follow, and we all do things a certain way, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so if we get off track, if that gets off track, that kind of throws us off, because I know me personally, I don't like making mistakes. I just don't. I make
Mm-hmm.
them, but I don't like it.
I don't think anybody really likes making mistakes.
Well, I don't think some people care about making mistakes, but the people that do care, though, I just don't like making mistakes, and I think that's another reason why um we don't go to therapy, because if we make a mistake and we can't fix it, then we don't want, that's not taking accountability for, for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't like to take accountability. And I'm gonna just tell you something. I try to do self inventory at least, once a day, maybe once, every 2 or 3 days, and sometimes I forget, but I always like to try to check myself to make sure that I'm dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that I'm saying the right thing to people, because you guys see how I talk. Y'all know, I can, really get off track. And
Mm-hmm.
so I really do struggle with saying the right thing, because I've I never was taught to have a filter, in my opinion. My mom tried, but my brain just didn't operate like that. I've always just said what I thought. And so
Right.
even today, some people tell me, "Hey, you need a filter. You need to calm it down some." And I do. I struggle with that, and I try to work on that all the time, because I can be rude. What people will call rude and harsh, and they only saying
Mm-hmm.
it's rude or harsh because, let's keep it real. People don't like the word no. Okay.
That's true.
When you tell somebody no, then you being mean to them. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
that you being mean. It's just that sometimes I have to tell people no, because I can't let your bad decision affect my life and make me make a bad decision, right?
Right.
So if
Right.
if I can see the dang train coming, and you gonna crash, I'm not crashing with you. So the answer
Right.
have to be no on some
Mm-hmm.
things. it's okay to tell people no. And I just think people have a problem with telling people no. It's yes, yes, yes. When you're dealing with your family and friends, they so used to
Mm-hmm.
hearing yes, and so they call you all kind of names because maybe I said maybe I will and maybe I won't. It depends on the
Right.
situation. With me, I'm just not a go along to get along type person. I'm just not.
Yeah.
So
It's
that
it's
makes me a
not what they
difference.
call you. It's not what they call you. It's what you answer to.
There you go. There you go.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And no is definitely a complete sentence. No,
right.
period.
Yeah. And what part do you not understand? The N or the O?
And it's universal. It's universal. You can say no in Spanish, English, any other language. It's still no.
It's still no. It's no other word. It's no other. It's no other way of saying no to in any other language, huh?
That's right.
So that makes it a very important word then. So that means
It
people should
is.
use it more often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. And so, people call you different or what have you when you speak your mind the way I do, and when you have your own thoughts, and you're just not in a cult like type relationship, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people, even my friends, they get mad if they ask me a question and I give them the answer, then they get mad at me. I'm like, well, why did you ask me? I'm gonna tell you what I think. If you don't want to hear what I think, then don't ask me a question. Everybody that knows me know that I'm gonna give them the truth. And even my best friend, and I had to explain to her, was, sis, listen, you're not right in this whole situation. I'm sorry. I can see both sides of the story. I can see
Mm-hmm.
your wrongness in this situation, and I see, his wrongness in the situation. And she was having problems with her husband, and she was like, well, you're on his side. Well, I don't have a side.
Right.
When you're asking me for advice and you asking me what I think, I'm not biased. I don't have a side. I don't care who you are and where you come from. I'm just going to tell you what I feel or what I
Mm-hmm.
feel like is the right answer. And you may not like it, but I'm still going to tell you. So don't ask me if you don't really want to know. And people have learned that from me.
Right.
I'm just not. I just don't sugarcoat things just to make you feel good, and I don't want you to sugarcoat anything to make me feel good. I'd rather you
Yeah.
tell me the truth so that I can work on myself and try to fix the problem. That's the type of person that I am. I
Right.
wholeheartedly can take constructive criticism. I don't like it all the time, but I know
Mm-hmm.
how to take it, and that's the difference.
Mm-hmm. May
Yeah,
sting a little sometimes, but
yeah, it sting, it
um,
do, but
yeah.
I rather try to do right and fix my issue rather than to
Mm-hmm.
rather than to keep going down the wrong track.
Right. A real friend will let you know.
Hmm.
Will let you know when you're wrong, and they'll let you know when they believe you're right.
Yeah.
That's a real friend.
Right.
But yeah, you can't just agree with someone just because you like that person.
Yeah.
If they're wrong, they're wrong.
Hmm.
And you don't want somebody to go out there being wrong all the time and you know that they're wrong, but you're just
Go along with it.
allowing them. Yeah,
And I don't
that's
want to
not
be
a real
wrong. Don't have
friend.
me going out there looking crazy because
Right.
I don't even want to do that myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't feel like it's anything wrong with people telling you no. Now, when somebody do tell me no, I hate the word no, but hey, it is what it is. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. But that's all I had to say today. And thank you for letting me come on your panel, Alice. You always allow me to come up here, and I really appreciate that.
Oh, you're very welcome. You know, you are welcome anytime. I appreciate you. Thanks. I like to hear what you have to say because whenever you say something, you're going to say what you want to say and what needs to be said. You say what you say and you said what you said.
Yes, and
So,
mean it, and be meaning it wholeheartedly too.
yeah, I appreciate I appreciate you.
All right. You guys have a nice day, and thanks for having me up. And I'll go back in the chat, Alice.
You too. Thank you. Blue, I'm not fooling with you. Okay? I'm trying to ignore your comments in the chat. You and Abril are showing off. But I have the link pinned in the chat. If anyone else wants to come up before I get off of this live, feel free to hit the link and come up. I'm going to allow 2 or 3 minutes. You know what, Blue? You can't play the blame game, Blue. Accept the responsibility that you played. Okay? So, okay, I'm going to give 2 more minutes, y'all. But, okay, Jamila, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for stopping by. So, 1 more minute, and then I'm going to right, 1 more minute, and then I'm going to say a quick prayer and end the live. Okay? So again, thank you all for joining the live. Thank you, Marjan, and I said what I said, for coming to the panel and sharing your thoughts. I appreciate both of you. And remember, y'all, that we should try to learn something every day. And we should also try to teach others as well. Because as long as we're teaching and learning, we're growing. And if we're not growing, we're dying. Thanks, Vaughn. So let me take a moment to thank my moderators who joined the live. Blue and Vaughn. Did I see any other moderators? I hope I didn't miss anyone. Thanks again. I said what I said. Thanks again, Marjan. For everyone else, Senna. Thank you, Senna. Thank you, Blue, for saying that. I didn't want to leave anyone. I thought it was more than 2, but I couldn't. Think, I'm over 60. So sometimes, I may forget things. Anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you. So let me say a quick prayer, and then we're going to get off of the live. Thanks again to everybody. And thanks, St. James, for stopping by. I appreciate you. So, God, we thank you for another opportunity to share. We thank you for your agape. We thank you for the ability to learn and to teach others. God, please continue to draw us closer to you as you continue to seek, us in a very special way, God. Thank you for forgiving us when we have done wrong, when we seek forgiveness from you, God. Continue to remind us that we are always teaching by our actions. Help us to love ourselves the way you love us, God. Thus teaching others how to love us. And God, let us not be ashamed to seek help from the people that you have placed in our lives called counselors. And not only that, God, lead us to the right people to talk to. Sometimes we don't like to tell our secrets. We can talk to you, but God, please give us that human touch that we can always go to help us when we are in need. You know what everybody in this life stands in need of. So, God, I ask that you right now will touch each and every person in this live, every person who will come to watch the replay of this live. God, I thank you for touching us all, God, for keeping your hands on us all, God. For those who are dealing with physical ailments, God, we thank you for the healing in advance. For those who are dealing with mental health issues, God, we thank you again for the healing in advance. And for anyone who is going through any financial situations, God, we thank you for blessing in advance, God. Thank you for supplying all of our needs according to your will, your way, and according to your riches and glory. It's in the name of Jesus that I lift this prayer today. Amen and amen. And once again, I want to remind you all that God loves you even more than I do. And I really do love you all. Continue to be blessed, and more importantly, continue to be a blessing to someone else. Thanks again. Have a beautiful rest of your day.